Last night, I actually got to spend some quality time with my black golden doodle. Now, for those of you all that don't know me, my name is Air, and this is all about black cat energy when it means to become the woman that is fully confident, also known as the femme fatale, the woman of seduction, but just the divine goddess that you get to be as a woman having a spiritual experience on this planet. So, right now, me and my little Jasper, my black golden doodle, are not living in the same space. It's just one of those chapters of life where a lot of transition is happening and we aren't together full time, but I got to spend time with him last night. And I want to be able to kind of give the differences between my black golden doodle, the black cat energy, and then also just the golden retriever energy as well. So it's not lost on me that out of all things I could have chose to have as a little one would be a black golden doodle. It's almost like finding that difference or that sweet little spot between the black cat energy and the full-on retriever energy, because poodles are also known for being classy and distinguished. And then, of course, the black mysterious nature of it. He's not just all light energy. In fact, as loving and kind as he is, he also has this kind of almost prim and proper attitude to him. He doesn't necessarily need a ton of attention to feel like he's important. He's calm, he's collected, and that just kind of resonates with me very well as far as like, okay, he will be the first one to greet you at the door, but if you're not giving back the same energy as he is, he will turn around and just leave you and go back to doing whatever he was doing before. That is the black golden doodle energy. I actually wanna tell a short little story to set the stage of black cat energy and how I really saw it play out as far as a huge group of people. If you're someone that's kind of on the edge right now trying to figure out, I don't know if I wanna be a black cat. I don't know if that's what I want for me, for my relationship, if it's gonna help me in my career. But here is an actual real life experience where I got to see this play out over the course of 30 days. And when this was happening, this was not the focal point of the whole story. It was a sideline plot, but it's something that I think most people didn't notice. And that is kind of my personality is being the observer, being, I'm in school with a psychotherapy, MCS, I'm working on the master doctorate program, and I'm really focused on like human behavior and dynamics, especially relationship dynamics. I am so fascinated by just how people react with each other and respond and build and create relationships. Okay, so last November, I was actually attending a yoga school in Colombia. And this particular yoga school actually had like a full, like 2 acres of land that was like on a cliff beach. It was so incredibly beautiful. It's called Akasha. If you are interested in getting your yoga certification, 100% worth it. I will be friends with Leela and Pablo until the day I die. They are amazing, and they definitely have a black cat golden retriever relationship going as well. But this whole entire school had about 20 people attending it. And if you count the staff, at any time there was about 25 people always on this like campus setup. There was a full like villa, and then there was a side, I guess you could call it like a side clubhouse where there was 4 of us because I was actually in the side clubhouse. I love a lot of space. And then there was probably about 15 people to 17 people that were staying in the full villa, and I think it had like 8 rooms total, not including like the main rooms where like we would practice. But nonetheless, it's a huge space, and they didn't have any dogs. In fact, all they had was 2 cats, unless you wanna count, like, the wildlife that would creep up on us, like, there was turtles and snakes and things of that nature, but, like, that's just classic Colombia, not actually the pets they had. They had 2 cats, and they had a black cat and an orange cat, and to be honest with you, there may have been 3 cats, there may have been 2 orange cats, but I'm really focused on the black cat, and the black cat was named Shanti. If you're not familiar with yoga terms, you'll, like, really find this maybe kinda cute, but Shanti in Sanskrit means peace. So if you are a yogi, you immediately kind of picked up on that because, like, that is ultimate bliss, it's just to be at peace. But this black cat was named Shanti. Okay, so people are going to the school, and it's about 30-day program to get, your 250 hours. And as we start, you can kind of see the dynamics of this social group on day one as people are arriving. Who's the super friendly people? Who's the people that like to have their space or the introverts? Who's the people that want to be like the center of attention? It is a psychology dream. I loved that part of the program. And I got to kind of observe because I'm somebody that when I'm in these huge social settings, whether it's the school or even a party, I will enter in and then I will retreat. And then I will enter in again and I will retreat. And I really actually love one-on-ones or like small groups that are like 3 or 4 people. But that's the black cat showing up in me. One of the rules of the school that I thought was going to really have an impact on how the black cat energy played out is the fact that you were not allowed to touch the cats. It's a yoga school, so many things are open, emotions were flowing, practice, like, obviously, when you're in yoga and you're becoming a teacher, you really have to focus on getting the right poses and alignment for the asanas, and that requires contact, but you were not allowed to touch the cats. And, of course, Leela had her reasons, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if she gives explanations or not. Those are her babies, and she gets to decide, if somebody gets to interact with her babies. But you are not supposed to touch the cats. Now, the cats overall are seen as like spiritual beings if you're into mystics or if you're into magic or just spirituality. And they're known as like the gateways between the realms versus a golden retriever is the opposite. And I'm going to take a pause on my story with Akasha and go into what it's like to go into the golden retriever energy for a moment. So let's say that Jasper and me are at our house, we're chilling, but I have a friend coming over. And immediately when that door rings, Jasper is there. He is ready to greet whoever is there. In fact, when I owned stores, Flying with Air, I owned metaphysical stores for about 6 years. Every single time a customer came in, he was ready to greet them and give them the full experience of flying with air with his sweet wagging tail and smile, just ready to like shake paws with you, so happy that you are here. And customers would eat that up. They would love him just as much as the energy he was giving off to them. And that is retriever energy. It's adoration. It's hand and foot. I can't wait to see you, that loving, that deep affection. And for a lot of people, they don't get to have that. So they love having that. They love experiencing that. So that is like ultimate retriever energy. Now, he's a golden doodle, so just bear with me, but like you can say like golden retriever, golden lab, whatever, husky. So even Yorkie and like I can just go off on dogs. I like dogs a lot. So that is his energy versus I've known people that have stores, like metaphysical stores, that have cats, especially a black cat. And the black cat, whenever the customer walks into the store, has no idea there's even a cat there. Like, especially if you're being super hygienic or the cat goes outside or something like that. Like, you never know. This cat isn't there to greet you at the door. This cat is not waiting on you hand and foot. This cat is probably sleeping in the windowsill next to the wind chimes, and you probably think it's a prop because you didn't even notice that it was breathing. Like, that is more applicable whenever it's a cat greeting you. So let's rewind and go a little bit back into the Akasha story of, okay, we're not supposed to touch these cats. I'm totally cool with that because, full transparency, before this, I had a very, like, negative experience with a cat before I decided to have Jasper, and I've had Jasper for about, he just turned 7. So 7 years, but before that, I had a cat named Chance, and Chance is actually still in my life, but he ended up with my father because their bond was just so much better than my bond with him. But nonetheless, Chance is a orange tabby, and I really, really fell in love with him immediately when I met him, like, but it was just not the right time in my life. That's a whole different story. But nonetheless, I had had a negative or not so fun experience with a cat. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm more of a dog person, but I didn't like the fluffy, fluffy things of the dog. So I kind of settled with the whole black dog concept of like, okay, well, maybe the energy will like be slightly different. So with that, I walked into Akasha being totally okay with none of these cats interacting with me throughout the entire experience. Like, I wasn't here for the cats. So, and in fact, I was at that brink of time where I'm like, okay, my father is actually allergic to cats. Some reason Chance doesn't bother him. But I was like, am I going to be allergic to cats when I get a little bit older? So that was even going in the back of my mind of like, I don't even want to be near these cats. So yoga starts, we start the program, we're a few days in, and everybody is really trying to like sneak in pets with these cats. And these cats are super fiercely independent. They run around the premises like as their own. Sometimes they're hanging out as a group, sometimes they're completely on their own. And Shanti, the black cat, particularly, is never seen. Like, no one ever knows where Shanti is. And I think that goes back to maybe Shanti has like a real preference for Leela because I think that he literally liked to hang out, or sorry, she liked to hang out in the master bedroom the most. Maybe she just really didn't like to be around a lot of people. And that is very black cat energy as far as like, I need my alone time. I'm unbothered. You're in my space. That's okay. That's cool. I will interact with you when I think it's best for me. I'm going to focus on me and look at my paws. So with that, the black cat would only come out occasionally, and mostly whenever it was like late or quiet times or there wasn't a lot of chaos happening. And what I noticed around day 10 of this is everybody was sneaking in these like pets, especially with the orange cats. I'm pretty sure there's two actually, with the orange cats, and no one ever knew where Shanti was. Like, I think they may have even forgot that Shanti existed to an extent. I know that they were always, like, still asking, but, like, they weren't necessarily as into, figuring that out as much because I think literally the cat was choosing who it wanted to, like, be interacting with. Which brings me to my point. Around day 10, I started noticing that Shanti, for whatever reason, would just like appear next to me. Like, I would be in meditation and we'd be meditating for like an hour and 2 hours. And then I would open up my eyes and I thought it was like a fluffy blanket, but this cat is just like right next to me at my knee and not looking for my attention, not trying to be, clingy in any type of way, just there, just against me, just touching me. And for a moment, I was like, am I going to get in trouble based off of this cat, like, interacting with me? And it became like a thing where I had to ask because around day 20, this cat just kept appearing in my meditations, or when I was like trying to take a nap in the sun, or, even when I was eating, like, and I was normally alone in these circumstances. I would say 80% of these events, I was on my own, just doing my own thing, not trying to like achieve anything but just like shanti, just peace. So I actually asked, I was like, Leela, like, I don't want to be breaking your rules. I don't want to offend you, but your cat likes me. Like, I can't help it. I'm not trying here. And she goes, that makes a lot of sense. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, let's talk this out. Because again, I'm fascinated with human dynamics and energy. And she goes, well, Shanti particularly really only likes confidence people. Like, she actually normally likes men more than women, just based off of like, she likes calmness. She wants peace. Like, she doesn't like clingy. She doesn't want to be like approached or attacked a lot. And attacked is not the word she used. She definitely put it way more eloquently than I am. But she very much wants to just be appreciated, be loved, like all cats. But she knows, like, she's good. She's a confident cat. Like, versus the other cats, I could see just their dynamics as like they did love more affection and peace and like pick me energy versus Shanti. And when I had that discussion with Leela, I started seeing this black cat very differently. And I started seeing those dynamics of the pick me energy versus the calm and collected energy within the group. Because around 15 days, when you're spending all day and all night with these people for like 30 straight days, you start to actually see that they are golden retrievers and black cats. You can see the dynamics of like, okay, who is still working on some emotional, strength and still working through a lot of their own identity versus, okay, who's in a different chapter of their life. And there was a big age range amongst the entire group. I think the youngest person was actually maybe 19, 20, and I think the eldest was around like maybe 60, 63. So with that, like a huge group, different chapters of life, but that didn't really matter on who was the golden retriever versus a black cat. That actually came from within, which is something I'd like to really share with my clients and with people that I'm working with to be able to bring out their best selves is the fact that it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter if you're already in a relationship or not in the relationship. You can start changing your energy and changing your confidence and changing just how you show up in the world immediately. Snapping with the right fingers. So with that, those type of dynamics were playing out. So I was kind of viewing these cats and seeing them as the people. And I actually got referenced without telling anybody this to a black cat. And it was one of the women that were probably in like their late 20s that referenced this. She goes, yeah, air just kind of comes and goes. Like, she chooses who she wants to talk to. Like, she has very like deep type of meaningful conversation. She doesn't do a lot of like shallow talk. And she's very much somebody that like wants to add value when she speaks. And I found that to be a very authentic, lovely compliment coming from this woman. And I really appreciated that she vocalized that because while I am all of those things, it doesn't hurt to hear them as well and to get an outside perspective. Words of affirmation are not my top love language, but I definitely, love to be able to see people express love in their ways. So I appreciated that. And that is very true. But I also feel very much self aware and my self concept is really strong. Like, I'm not letting other people tell me who I am or what I stand for. I'm going to take a quick sideline because this is something that I think is valuable just to add to the show is the whole being nice versus kind type of thing. Now, if you are somebody that's never heard about nice versus kind, this is another human dynamic where you get to see, like, okay, where do you fall? A lot of people think that if you have this kind of black cat energy, that you're not a good person or you're not a nice person, is the way they'll say it. But that's not actually true. I relate it to, let's pretend that you were driving a car, and the first time that you're driving this car in the deep South. And I've spent plenty of time in Southern United States to like be able to vouch for this. But let's say you're driving your car and you get a flat tire, a nice versus good person situation. A car will drive up and they will say, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I hope that you get some good help." And, like, they will be on their way. And I'm going to say that this isn't everybody, right? This is a metaphor. This is me, being very, very, like, high on conceptions, but they'll just drive by, right? That was a very nice person. They showed, like, "Hey, I'm so sorry this happened to you." That was very nice. But I wouldn't classify them as a kind person. Like, here's the difference. I'm just going to use the North just for example, just to give some contrast. Let's say you're driving the same car in like New York City and your car breaks down and you like are stuck. Somebody comes by and they're like, excuse my language, but they're like, "You're an idiot. How on earth did you let your car break down? Like, what were you thinking?" Like, they might even cuss a little bit, and they'll be like, "Okay, let's fix it. Let's get this done." That person wasn't a very nice person, but they were a very kind person. They were the type of person that actually was like, "Look, this is inconvenient to my life. I don't like it, but I can see that you need some help. So let me help you out." That's kindness. That to me, if you're going to say someone's a good person, I'm going to choose the kind person that's cussing versus the nice person that left me on the side of the road every single day. Like, point blank, I do not need to go any further on where I fall. So, black cats are not bad people. They are kind people that may not appear so nice. And that is a key concept here. I'm going to wrap it back around. Whenever the black cat and you're walking into their house, remember how like my friend came over? My friend would be looking for this cat, maybe even sees the cat, but the cat, is eating and drinking and maybe taking a nap in the windowsill. Like, the cat is eventually going to be like, "Okay, well, there is somebody in my presence," just like Shanti was like with me. And the cat will come over and the cat will be like on your lap or maybe even purring. And here is what the psychological thing is. Here is where, the cat's milk comes into play. Just like with Shanti, my friend would be so ecstatic, like happy, because of the concept called choose me. Whenever this cat was doing its own thing and chose me at this yoga retreat, or not retreat, school, everyone was like confused. Like, "Oh, you're playing with Shanti, or Shanti's hanging out with you," or like, "I saw you, laying out and then Shanti was against you." And I took a photo. Like, I have a photo of this cat actually like at my side a couple of different times where people were like confused because it wasn't happening to them. And That gave a very "I'm chosen" type of feeling. Golden retrievers especially love that. People love that. People love the feeling of being chosen. And that is what's really captivating for the black cat is whenever you actually choose somebody, that's the deep sense of, "Yes, I am good. I am worth it. XYZ." And I felt that with Shanti. I was like, "This cat likes me and no one else. I'm pretty awesome. Like, I'm chosen. I'm not just, the next thing on the cat's, list, and it's gonna go hang out with everybody else. Like, this cat likes me, and that is a win. That's a feat. This cat doesn't like anybody else." That is what makes the dynamic, especially in romantic relationships between the man and the woman, so powerful. Because men really love the idea of their woman not being available for everybody else, their woman being very exclusive and choosing him at the end of the day. That makes them feel powerful. So that is the black cat energy. That is the energy that Shanti gave to me. That is the energy that you're going to see whenever you go over to someone's house and they have a cat versus a dog. Like, this is what makes this very powerful, is this idea of this calm, collected, really just confidence energy. That's the black cat energy.